good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by this blank wall behind me. Presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. I've got to tell you all this story. How about this for an interesting start to SEC football media days? So, by the way, we're here at the Courtyard Marriott, just down the street from the Hyatt Regency, the Winfrey Hotel. First time I've been to media days and not been staying at the Winfrey. Kind of odd, an odd year. There's going to be a lot of COVID guidelines at media days, so that's going to be different. There's only, as I walked down Radio Row last night, there's only about maybe 10 to 15 tables total. Typically for media days, we have, typically for media days, there's, the number of stations there live has grown to 50, 60 radio stations that are there live. And this year it's like maybe 10, 12, 15 tables total. Everything's socially distanced, no fans allowed in the hotel. It's going to be a scaled down event, only 2 athletes per school instead of 3, along with the coach. But I think that's probably going to work to our benefit personally, considering I think it's going to be to our benefit personally because with fewer stations, it's going to be easier to get guests. Everybody's going to be fighting for the same people. So anyway, man, our numbers this morning are microscopic. I wonder what if it's because it's Monday, if everybody's listening to something else or watching something else. So maybe we won't do a long show if y'all are watching somebody else. It's all good with me. I'll get over to Radio Row. Whatever y'all got, fire away. Let's see, Chris B, what's up, man? Charlie Cavell, what's up? What's your top 10 coach speak comments? You want me to do a list? No, so real quick, so a funny story. So I get here yesterday and I pull in town about 8 o'clock. I went over to the hotel, to Media Days Hotel to look at our spot, kind of get the lay of the land over there. And I hadn't eaten yet, so I needed dinner. So there's a plate, the Winfrey Hotel is kind of like, it's attached to the gallery, which is a mall. So imagine whatever, if you're in Baton Rouge or whatever, imagine a hotel in the mall, right, or attached to the mall. And then there's the big circle like around the mall that has all the restaurants. So like at Mall Louisiana, there's Pluckers and J. Alexander's and all this, well, same here. So there's all these restaurants around. One of them's called On Tap. That's where a lot of the media guys go. I told you I basically just come here to drink, but so I went to On Tap just because I knew I could get something quick. Saw Ross Dellinger there, so Brody was there, Rabelais, a lot of the LSU, Scooter Hobbs, a lot of the LSU guys were there. So I go in there, I sit just at the bar to place my order, and this guy next to me goes, "Man, I got to get your hat." I was like, "What?" I thought maybe it was someone who knew whatever, because I'm wearing my Hudco hat. He said, "Man, I got to get your hat." I'm like, "I can't give you this hat." It's like literally the only Hudco hat that I have. I'm going to give it to someone. It ain't going to be some random guy in the state of Alabama who will never, ever buy a roof from me. But honest to goodness, true story, the first person I saw here yesterday asked me for my Hudco hat. So apparently the design is awesome. People love it. What can I say? Charlie Cavell listening to Burns Enduring from Radio Row. I need to pop over there. Preston Schulze, what teams are you looking at to learn more about you may not know a ton on? Honestly, Preston, I think it's the West schools, especially the ones with new coaches or that had new coaches last year. So, for example, I think Mississippi State's really interesting. So, Mississippi State's a team that LSU's going to go to Starkville this year. They hired Leach a year ago. Of course, they beat LSU in the opener, but they finished 3-7. Well, they have a lot of people back on defense, and their defense was pretty good last year too. They kept them in a lot of games, and then when you think about it, they were transitioning to the Mike Leach style of offense and had no spring and really not much of a ramp up in camp. and you played a 10-game SEC schedule. So now with a year to recruit, a year in his system, how much more efficient can Mississippi State be? I think that's a really interesting question. Does Ole Miss have a defense? Because if Ole Miss has a defense, y'all, nobody's going to want to hear this, but Ole Miss could be a problem if they have a defense. Because with Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral, even having lost Elijah Moore to the NFL, that's going to be one of, if not the best offenses in the SEC. So if they can be competent on defense, that's another tough one. I'm not expecting much out of Arkansas this year. KJ Jefferson takes over quarterback for Felipe Franks. Auburn obviously is interesting with a new coach, with Brian Harsin. This comes up. This does come up. Auburn's interesting with Brian Harsin. New coach. What type of offense does he want to run? Is it? Oh, there we go. Is it Bo Nix? Is it Finley? I mean, let's not forget he's the one that went and recruited T.J. Finley to Auburn. So does he want Bo Nix or does he want Finley? What type of quarterback stylistically does he want? And then Bama, whatever. Jeremy Brinkmeyer, why are so many people high on A&M? I'm sorry. I missed a whole bunch of comments. My bad. Let me answer this since I said it out loud. Oh, look, here we go. Okay, now people are jumping aboard. Cliff, what's up, man? Craig Schilling, take T-Bob some clothes. What's he wearing? Look, man, y'all can think I'm a goofball, but, I mean, khaki pants, dress shirt, nice shoes, representing the company, I'm going to look good. So, whatever. He can wear what he wants. Cliff Nelson, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, by the way, please, thank you. Smash the likes there on YouTube. Appreciate you. Joey Vincent, good morning, Crispy. Rate your hotel room. Not great. But did what we had to do, man. That's what I was explaining so we try to get rooms at the Hyatt Regency at the Winfrey, and I went on vacation, there was a miscommunication, and my room never got booked, so I called to book it, and they were sold out. So I'm down the street at the Courtyard by Marriott. But whatever. Just a little inconvenience. I mean, it's a 2-minute drive, so I'll be there. As soon as I shut this down, I'll head over. Trey Carter, good morning. Brady Smith, Chris B, thoughts on poor snack options at the PMAC? I have no real thought on that, but good question. I hope they improve. Eric Wildrider, Matt, curious if you got into this week with specific people try to interview, or do you go with the flow? It's very much a go with the flow. I mean, I would love to get everybody, but really, you also have to understand what's based on schedules, what's realistic. So when schools bring different guys to Radio Row, sometimes you just stalk them. You run upstairs, and when they're waiting in between rooms, you have your phone and you just, do a 3-minute handheld interview. Do what you can do. Hey, Janet, good morning. Nice shirt, thank you. Can you do an ad? I need to hear about Windows. Gotcha, Chris. Relief Windows. Nicholas Cantrell, good morning. Matt, you cleaned up nicely. Thank you, Scott. I love that we are in talking season now, per Coach Spurrier. College football is back. It is, man. So the event today kicks off with Greg Sankey. I'm telling you right now, expect to hear a lot about the COVID variant. I'm not telling you I want to hear it. I'm just telling you, expect to hear a lot today about the COVID variant from Sankey. They are going to be pushing people to get vaccinated. Take it for what it's worth. Just understand you're going to hear a lot about that today. Tim Gotro, good morning. All right, let's see. Dale Broussard, still bullish on Cardano and Polkadot? Absolutely. You just got to understand, man, we're in a correction right now. As long-term plays, 100%. Are you kidding me? Don't sell. Hold. Gerald Mathern, what's up? Truax, what's up? Hey, Dad, good morning. Bo Brown, good morning. On the way to Myrtle Beach, good for you, man. Jeremy Wheeler, SEC Media Days, we're getting close. Yes, sir. Okay, Brinkmeyer, why are people high on A&M? So, here's what's interesting, Jeremy. A&M, of course, they lose Kellen Mond, and they lose 4 offensive linemen. But they, and I'm with you, by the way, but they first of all, they'll have the best running back tandem in the SEC, led by Isaiah Spiller. They feel like, based on interviews I've heard with Jimbo and with some coaches on that staff, that even having lost the players on the line that did that, their offensive line this year is going to be better. Like, that was guys Jimbo inherited, and this is a team this year where it's guys he's recruited, and you're talking about guys that are going to be potential high draft picks. They got basically all of their receivers back from last year. And then defensively, they should be a top 10 defense in the country. They're very optimistic about everything they have coming back defensively. So a great defense, a good offensive line, some dominant running backs, all your pass catchers back. Can you replace Mond, who was good at times and not good at times, right? I mean, that's fair to say. I know that's sort of vague, but and then you look at the schedule. So they get Alabama at home. They do have to go to LSU, but they're cross-divisional. They're at Missouri and home against South Carolina. So the schedule kind of plays in their favor as well. Coming off a season where they were 9-1, that's why they're riding that wave. People think they're going to be, maybe more talented than they were a year ago. That's why you're hearing a lot of hype for them. Gerald, I don't blame you for not wanting to share a room with T-Bot. That's basically what happened, Gerald. I was like, I'm not sharing a room. I'm a grown man. You can say what it is, but I'm not sleeping in a room with another grown man. So anyway, so they didn't book me a room. So I was on my own. And I guess waited too long to get in the Winfrey. Jeff McKithen, what's up? Kelly Gross, good morning. Bo Brown, think this is the first year no coaches on the hot seat in the SEC. I wouldn't say no, Coach Bo. I think you got to wait and see how seasons play out. Like, nobody thought Jeremy Pruitt would be out in Knoxville, but there were some extenuating circumstances around their poor performance. And I think, that's obviously a situation around Ed Ogeron right now. You have a lot of heat because of off the field stuff, and a season last year that was very bad. So, that's a fair assessment. But all the first year guys and second year guys are likely safe. Saban and Kirby obviously aren't in any trouble. Mullen, not really in any trouble, you would think. So, yeah. Everybody may be back next year. Hudco hats, who knew? David Wallace, Jerry DeLucky, what's up, man? Hey, Dylan Landry, Drew Hurst, what's up, guys? What's up? Charlie Cavell, Josh Heupel's one of the few coaches I'd like to hear from. Yeah, man, they've done their best to try to take advantage of the transfer portal. No team more so than Auburn. What Harson's done there in adding transfers has been interesting, if not impressive. So, they added Roberson, the wide receiver from Georgia. They added T.J. Finley. They've added quite a few transfers there at Auburn to try to make over that team in a similar way, kind of like if you want a comp like what Jay Johnson's done with LSU baseball, adding transfers. Harson's done similar with Auburn football. Let's see. Nick Pellissier. Good thing Terrio didn't shave anything on Friday. Shelly Melanson, what's up? With another player homesick and leaving, does this consider into factor of recruiting out-of-state players? No, Shelly, it doesn't, man. Over the years, there's been those situations where you sign a guy and that happens in real life school, not just with student athletes, right? Some kids leave home and they show up on a college campus and they want to get home. There was a tight end, was it a lineman, a kid from West Virginia a couple of years back who never played. Signed, showed up, left, never played. I guess my point is, it. What was that kid's name? Mm. I'd have to go back. I'd have to go back and look up those signing classes. But there was a kid who signed and saying just never showed up. 8:17. All right, let me do a 10 more minute, y'all. Kerry Hughes, what's up? Really interested to hear the status of the running backs. Who will be the guy that leads the way? I'm with you, Kerry. I mean, I think that's one of the great unknowns on this LSU team that they just have to answer for the style of offense they want to run. Cale Reynolds, Kirk Taylor, good morning, good morning, good morning. Brandon Atchison, Preston Schultze, back to A&M. Their over-under is 9.5 from what I've seen. What do you see? Yeah, that's about where I'm seeing it. Not 9.5. Again, look at their schedule. I mean, if they figure out quarterback play, it's manageable. They get Alabama and Auburn at home. What's the word on the street about our new defensive coordinator? Jeremy, the players seem to like him. Far more toned down than Bo Pelini. Good X's and O's guy. I mean, Aranda recommended him, so I would think the idea is get someone who's more in line with Dave Aranda, the way that he approaches the game. But the players really seem to like him and Andre Carter and Blake Baker, like all the new coaches on defense, which is important. And I would say as important too is bringing the safeties back under Corey Raymond's wing. So you have a defensive backs coach, not a cornerbacks coach, and a safeties coach splitting them. The way it was explained to me was, imagine if you had an offensive tackle coach and an offensive guard coach, and when you went to practice, you split those two units. It wouldn't make a lot of sense because you need to work together as one. And that's what they were doing prior with Bill Bush and Corey Raymond. Now they brought them back together. I saw a list for top 10 running backs in the SEC, not one LSU guy on there. Why would there be, Jeremy? I mean, honestly, like if we're just being honest here, I mean, it's not a snub. There's no reason to have any of those guys on there. Who was the best running back on the team last year? I mean, Ty Davis Price ran for 400 yards. Emory ran for 378. Curry ran for 145. Max Johnson for 119. Josh Williams, the former walk-on, had 22 carries for 88 yards. Trey Bradford's transferred out. I mean, tell me who the guy is. You don't have a dude, at least not one that's established. That boy Richie has his own money. And Craig Schilling did a video for Drew's birthday yesterday, and he tagged it with the line from Coming to America where Mr. McDowell is like, the boy has his own money. When I say it, he has his own money, and he handed him and Craig superimposed one of Drew's dollar bills, $7 bills. Eric Hart, yo Matt, best first week of college football season is upon us. Coincides with my COVID staycation, so I can immerse myself in all things talking at SCBD days. Well, get it out of the way now, Eric. All seriousness though, man, I hope you're all right. Brandon, as long as he's not the lazy last guy in the building, first guy out, and the guys don't look confused, it would be a great start, no doubt. Jonathan Martin, what's up? Jeremy, agree with the list, saying when was the last time we've seen it this bad at that position? Listen, there's been uncertainty. I mean, look, in 2018, there was uncertainty, and then Nick Brossette emerged and had a 1,000-yard season. 2019, Brossette was out. A lot of people thought Emory would come in as a freshman and be that guy, and then Clyde had the big blow-up season. So I think we've gone into seasons before not knowing who the guy was going to be. We've just seen somebody establish himself. So who is that going to be this year, I think, is the big question. I think someone will. I just don't know who it's going to be. Jerry, who do you think emerges as the running back? Throwing a dart against the wall, I would say John Emory. I just think for a skill set, I think he is the most versatile. Unless if it's one of the freshmen. I mean, could Corey Kiner come in and be that guy? I don't know. All right. Watching 54, watching on YouTube. Thanks, guys. If you would please smash the like button. 35 watching, or 35 likes, 54 watching. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it. Trivia, what's the chance you get a question answered by O? There is a chance, because I could go into the digital media room and get the mic and ask a question. I could do that. But on Radio Row, like 0. Well, let me say 2%. Just so as not to say 0. Come from the sports, stay for the responses to my silly comments. We don't deserve you, Matt. All good, Chris. I'm just glad you're here. I don't think your comments are that silly. I've seen way worse. Tim Gautreau, the guy from the bar, will be giving you a thumbs down vote in a minute. D. Seth Stewart, that was it. That was the guy. Seth Stewart, out of West Virginia, who signed and might have been here for like a day or just never showed up. That was him. How hard will LSU get bombarded with Title IX questions? Ed Ogeron will, Brody, for sure. I don't know if the players will, but Ogeron will for sure in the main room. I mean, it's a given, because people, some in Baton Rouge on the LSU, I don't want to say, it's going to sound so condescending without context. Look, LSU tries to filter as much as they can, and with respect to the media, and you don't have that buffer here. When Ogeron goes in that main room and he's at the podium for 30 minutes and you have media from all over the conference, like, they don't care if Michael Bonnet restricts access to Ed Ogeron. Like, they don't cover the team, but that's a question they're going to ask, given the summer, no doubt. Given that Ed's been, is a defendant in lawsuits. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to get asked. And he's going to say, I'm not talking about it, it's a legal matter. What's the difference in when Zach Arnold entered the transfer portal a few weeks ago versus Sanford doing it a few days ago? Likely immediate eligibility, unless if Sanford can appeal for immediate eligibility. I mean, Sanford could also go JUCO, right? Go JUCO and play immediately. Thomas Willie, who will be the number 2, number 3 receivers to start the season? So I'd go with Bootsy number 1, obviously. I think Jeray Jenkins, if you're going for a veteran, I think Jeray Jenkins is probably the number 2. And maybe Jontre Kirkland. I'd say Jontre Kirkland or Coy Moore would be the guy. And I'm going to be interested to see if Trey Palmer ever emerges. Then maybe his role is just going to be as a returner and a specialist, and that's cool if it is, but I'll be curious to see if he ever does. Adam Hall, Tad Page, good morning. Every year, someone shows up to camp looking like the super soldier serum from, they took super soldier serum from Marvel in the offseason, and to guess who that might be. I heard Ty Davis Price looks lean to me. I hope so for Ty Davis Price, that would be awesome. Normally, Adam, for me, that feeling is when you see a freshman, right? Like, typically, because you're laying eyes on somebody for the first time, and so you go, oh God, like, that guy's a freshman. I remember, like, Shamari Clemens, when he came in from West Monroe, was like that. Terrence Tolliver was like that. Patrick Peterson, of course. Dude, if you remember in 2012, when LSU, unfortunately, missed out on Landon Collins, that whole situation, but they went and flipped Corey Thompson. So Corey Thompson was an A&M commit, and they flipped him to LSU after they lost Landon Collins. They needed a safety. And Corey Thompson, day one on campus, was like, who was that guy? He was one of those guys. So it's more the freshman, I would think. All right. Jeff McKithen, any news on UCLA game with California COVID restrictions? No. Good to go as of now. Brandon Atcherson, has Emery progressed since the eye surgery? He had the eye surgery before last season, so you tell me. Do you think Dumerville plays any this year? Yeah, I think a lot of linemen are going to play this year out of necessity. I mean, every year. I mean, you want to play. You're too deep at some point rotationally, and if you have an injury, a guy runs in, whatever. So yeah. Hey Mark, good morning. Will Delta variant shut down LSU season opener football? No. Henry Gordon Bent, look, man, if they played football last year, they're playing football this year. Henry Gordon Bennett, morning Matt, super thin at tight end, but in 2019 they used Moss like a fifth wide receiver. I don't know that you have that guy though. If that tight end / receiver guy emerges, I think it could be Jack Besh. Keep an eye on Jack Besh at that spot. I keep hearing him mention a bunch. How scared are you about all this push from the COVID people lately? Jeremy, I'm not. Y'all know how I feel about COVID and all things COVID. It's if you're uncomfortable, wear a mask. Wash your hands. If you feel sick, stay home. Same thing as always. If you're in a super at-risk category, be very diligent and take whatever risk you feel comfortable taking. If you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you don't, don't. Brandon DeVille, and all Coach O is going to say is no comment. Do you think O has the directive of, I can't comment on an ongoing investigation? I don't know that it's a directive, Charlie, but I think it's advice, certainly. Remember Elliot Porter? Oh. Walk-on running back that was built like a brick outhouse, and veteran he was that. Don't remember him. L.C. Porter, I don't remember him. Huh. All right. Who starts at safety? I would say, I'd say they'll go veterans. I think if Todd Harris is healthy, and I think moving Jay Ward back there, probably those two. That'd be my guess. Thomas or Hilton going to get playing time this year? Absolutely. Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton, two local receivers? Absolutely. I know Hilton has had a really good summer too. Will LSU game be in jeopardy because of California? I don't think so, Carl. It's an indoor mask mandate in Cali, by the way. All right. Now I see why Les Miles thought he was untouchable at LSU, because the media in Baton Rouge don't press the coaches like they should. Yeah. It's also in part just limited access and LSU trying to control that message. All right, y'all, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Oh, God, it's 8:30. I gotta go. Okay. Jeremy, biggest strength and weaknesses this year. Strength, I would tell you depth on the defensive line. Weakness, offensive line. I know you got guys back, but they were terrible last year. You got to show me you're better. Okay, guys, I got to go. As always, shout out to Brock, Banner's Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. Both are tagged in the Facebook post. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. Thank you so much. Facebook, please like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. AFR coming up at 3, y'all. Talk to you then. Peace.